All right, coming at you with the late night Friday recap. Hope you're all doing well. Maybe even having more fun than me. Actually, I had a ton of fun. Okay, mom went out with some friends and had an afternoon that she very much deserved. She's an amazing mother, and we had some father-son time at pillow fights with my 1 year old who can't really pillow fight, but he thinks he can. Um, Markets. We are looking at SPY pretty much where we opened at the beginning of the year. Lots has happened, lots of news, but at the same time, nothing really. On the underline, there's all these sector rotations, right, occurring. Nothing's really catching a really strong trend unless it's energy. Tech's kind of been in and out overall sideways, which we can clearly see just looking at the cues, right? In fact, this still looks like it wants to be a failed breakdown. We've got that bearish confluence on the daily and the 2 day. So, you know, zooming back out to our projections for the year, it still looks like we're gonna get this kind of like sell off into February, which we've been talking about would probably occur like in the later part of January. It seems like we're starting to get that now. So today was still a little bit odd, given the fact that yesterday we set up the IWM longs and then we set up the QQ puts. And QQQ then gapped up and IWM gapped down. Now it ended up resolving back to the trend that we were expecting. It's close, so that was nice. But that's just a great example of how this market's been. It's really wanted to test hands, and sometimes it's easy to hold. Like with CVX, I've had super strong convictions, still here, still now making good money. 166 is still really strong. I think this thing wants to really explode over 170. XOM, even stronger confirmations. I mean, this thing's getting the breakout, and in my opinion, these things are just now getting started. I don't think we're near the end at all, even though the market kind of want to cool off after the Iran tensions calm down. It's still a disaster, so I don't think that's the case at all, but that's how the market seems to have perceived it with the way that it sold off in the short term. And then, of course, notably, XME still looks amazing. Minerals, rare metals, silver even recovered on the day. Big headlines, 5%. The pre market eats it up. Big sell off in the day, eats it up. You're still kind of in this downtrend, but honestly, this looks like this consolidate. How many times have we seen this? It kind of, and then you get a big pop, and it kind of sells off, and they get a big pop, and now it's kind of selling off. And I think you're going to get another big pop. I mean, it just doesn't, it's just not showing the weakness. Okay. So I think the next pop is when you should probably start to get really worried. And you should be have taken off some profits here. Okay. 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 All right. So, um, but I think later in the year, 100, 120, 150, who knows? If it wants to chase gold doesn't look like it's done with its super cycle either. Um, Big winner today was Honeywell, HON. Really good profits there. Another name that I think is just getting started. We're just now firing on the weekly. We're doing it in tandem with the monthly. You know what that means? Party time. So slam that one. Did take some profits today. Dips or buys. Um, I did try to set up some crypto positions. I think both look okay. Ethereum looks better. Now, Ethereum didn't give me that instant candle confirmation I wanted, so I did size down a bit, but I left the position on because it still looks fine. Like we're still getting the wedge breakout, pulling back into the EMA convergence. It still looks good. It's not like VKTX where I had to actually cut that one because we got the breakout, and then we did an over 50% retracement of the previous candle back below the breakout range. Okay, that for me is a cut. I got to get out, and it's got to break out again and then confirm for me to get back in, because it's just bipolar market, man. That one looks good though. I took a loss on this one. I think I made that back before the end of the month. I think that thing wants to move. Biotech in general, like IBB, is looking pretty good so far in the year. Looks like we want to get like the first dip um here, and then I think this might be like your wave one before continuation much higher. You know, that's I mean just that was great in 2025, and I think you want a whole lot more in 2026, especially if rate cut expectations are greater than the market expects. Which is not expecting a lot, considering that Trump's going to handpick a Fed president who's probably going to do what he says, and what Trump says is you want interest rates at 1%. So I don't know. Have your own opinion. I'm here to make money, not talk politics, but I think that's it. You know, it's the market's where it's been. I would definitely, I haven't, I don't got amazing returns on the year. I'll be honest. It's a tougher environment, but not the toughest environment. Um, Definitely did a little bit of over trading at the beginning of the year. Now we've pulled back and we're just kind of taking it slow and doing more swings, which is kind of nice to get back into some swings because we haven't been able to do swings for months. But now swings are kind of working again. And I think after that February pullback, we'll be able to pull some really good swings from like February to like April. That should be really good. Swing positions where some of these will clarify, like Honeywell, especially. Maybe we get the pullback into February and then we get like a really nice move, from like February to April. Maybe Energy wants to do the same thing, but I don't really have any comments besides those. So I think I covered most of the positions that we had. Still feeling like we've got a pretty good grip on the market. There is a surprising amount of setups. The AI is doing surprisingly well in a sideways market. It's hammering some great plays, bringing new tickers to my attention. That thing has infinite bandwidth, unlike, the trade team here. We can only keep track of so many things. We only have so much mental capital. That thing is infinite. I guess it's constrained by compute, but we don't have enough to throw at it that it can't handle. So that's exciting. I mean, it's really exciting. So we'll launch the new updates for that, and then we'll have the new trade trackers also for me and Abe also on Monday. Hopefully, 90% chance it should be done. And that'll be great. Sunshine and rainbows. It would be nice to get that back up. Because I hate typing out trades, and I've become very spoiled with bots that automatically do everything, and not having to type it out. So I am wanting that to become back. Definitely want that to come back. So let me see if we missed any other trades here. Not really. Closed figure. We get I got stopped on figure. We should keep an eye on this next week. Okay. This thing had a crazy move, I was watching it. I had the setup. I got out of the setup. I just got faked out. But a new IPO, I didn't. It has the same setup as ARM did for a new IPO. And I fumbled the bag on this pullback here. And missed some of the sub move, which is fine. We hit plenty of other big plays, but I'd watch it because it's probably not done. It probably wants to go to 100 or higher, just the way the structure looks. So luckily, I think it's going to be some other crazy IPOs this year. Especially SpaceX and Discord and Anthropic and maybe OpenAI later in the year. It's going to be a wild year. And I don't think there's anything else. Quiet day. All those were good. Swings been hitting, doing well. BE was a nice trade this morning. The thing had a really nice pop. I think I could have held it a little bit longer. Actually, I should have a runner. Yeah, we actually should still have a runner here, which is good. Scouts, a nice put, spy put. That was nice. Looking for the intraday plunge today. So we were just seeing that weakness this morning. So that 851, I bought the put as we broke the lows and we're kind of breaking the pre-market structure. I mean, that's classic war play, right? And it looked like they kept faking. It was tough for futures this morning because these candles were so big on Q and Russell. So that's what made me want to just like snag a 1 day put contract. And I think I even sold it too early, but we collected 50% on that one as well. So had some good scalps. Swings overall did well. Made good money today, and made some money this week. Again, nothing amazing, but sometimes you just as I've said many times before, sometimes you just here to survive and wait till the market gets easier and the signals are cleaner, and then you're there to thrive. Okay, but you have to survive to thrive. Okay, we don't want to overtrade in the gross nasty chop. So God bless, Godspeed. See you guys Tuesday because markets close on Monday. Okay, so I might do a weekly prep Monday night rather than Sunday. We'll see. Busy weekend ahead, but God bless, Godspeed.